Hello, and welcome to my podcast on a society without free will. The man at the forefront of free will philosophy and science is one Robert Sapolsky, an American endocrinologist and professor of biology, neurology, neurological science, and neurosurgery at Stanford University. Even spending years researching baboons in Kenya, this man knows the human brain through and to the best of our current scientific understanding. The first concept I want to introduce is Sapolsky's theory that follows as, quote, behind every human action is a biological explanation. Every decision we have made in our lives all comes down to these simple things: the chaining of our genes, biology, and the experience that priored our reactions. Sapolsky's goal is not to freak or shock anyone. It's also not to convince you that there is no free will. Robert's goal is for us to, quote, conclude that there is much less free will than you once thought. We do not have this fairy tale model of free will we once thought we had, and this is perfectly okay. What does this mean about our own responsibilities? Are we capable of true change? What are the implications for parts of our society? And why accept this notion at all? Well, Sapolsky says words like justice, punishment, and accountability become irrelevant. Like a car with damaged brakes and is too dangerous to drive while being thought to be accountable for being dangerous. And that justice would be served by locking that car in a garage to never be driven. One might think because we lack free will that lets us grab a hold of our destiny and change our stars, that we are not capable of change. Sapolsky says this in an interview with Andrew Huberman. Because you have learned that change is possible despite understanding mechanicalistically that we cannot change ourselves volitionally, but because you understand that change is possible, you have just changed the ability of your brain to respond to the optimistic stimuli. Simply put, the realization of the notion that change is possible presents us the possibility of real change. We cannot change the things around us. We can only reprogram how we react to them. We must take what we learn from deep thinkers and the people on the forefront of science and critically, logically, and emotionally think about how we can apply it to our everyday lives. If humans are responsible for what they do in the moment, while real change is possible within our biomechanical systems, then what is the point of our current prison system? We treat our prisoners like there is no way for them to change, like they are repaying a debt they owe to society, when it is likely things like poverty, addiction, and bad upbringings that are all the causes and are all things created by a society that is every free-willed man for themselves. There are many countries that do better for their people, choosing to rehabilitate rather than punish. Our culture is a big factor for this. We see it in all forms of media, TV, movies, that if you go to prison, you're likely not going to end up the same person afterwards. Countries like Greenland and Norway allow prisoners to have jobs, partners, and overall allows them to experience lives outside of their much more comfortable prison cells. Norway also has one of the best reconviction rates at 18% after 2 years, while the US has a reconviction rate of 48% after just 1 year. This is just one of several systems that needs to be improved for the sake of all our citizens, to create a society where we try to understand and help one another and aren't stuck fighting each other. Just imagine how much society could change for the better if we all chose to learn and try to understand each other's biology just a little more. We have everything to gain and nothing to lose by accepting we all have freedom within this moment, that we do not have this fantasy of complete free will we once thought we had. I would never want you to come away from this with a feeling of helplessness or despair. And as Sapolsky put it, the first reaction to this lack of total freedom is to throw up our hands and give up. Well, I believe, as Ram Dass once stated beautifully, as long as you want power, you can't have it. The minute you don't want power, you'll have more than you ever dreamed possible. The sense that we have less power than before is a blessing. Take what you can from it and experience life through a new free will.